Oh boy, do we need to talk about XRP. Because as I'm sure you are aware, something was just posted by Ripple that even though it didn't catch me off guard, I know a lot of people are asking themselves about this, a lot of people have commented about this, so I think it's a wise idea to cover it. But there's a multitude of things that I need to cover in this video, so if you haven't done it yet, make sure you go ahead and press that like button as we, like I said in the previous video, get ready for some crazy moves like a recession or perhaps something even crazier than that. So there's three interesting things that have just happened. One is the SEC just issued a subpoena to 3 crypto venture capital firms. All I need to say about this is if you thought the SEC was now, because the Ripple case is over, going to be done and was going to start playing nice, my friend, you are mistaken. I don't think the SEC is ever going to be done being a douchebag when it comes to this crypto space. Matter of fact, I think them now not getting what they wanted in the Ripple case might actually have made them even more angry and made them want to hunt for even more. And I think that is a perfect rollover into point number 2. Again, there's 3 points, the third being the most important, but here's point number 2. As a lot of people have been asking about appeals. We've got a new update on that though. So Hodor asked, hey, do you think there will be appeals, Councillor Hogan? Well, Hogan said, I've settled on a 60% chance that the SEC appeals some sort of decision. Judge Torres's opinion is an outlier, and no one seems to be following it yet. So it doesn't hurt the SEC as much as it might have. And an appeal could also, of course, backfire as well, but I still think there's more than half the chance because the SEC doesn't operate like a normal litigant. And again, with the cases they've been going for quite recently, we know that. If you don't know, Gary Gensler at some point said Ethereum and all these other ones are Gucci. And then later on, they sued Ethereum. But then later on, they withdrew their application against Ethereum. Another one is at some point, they basically said that most altcoins were fine, right? At least some. But they also actually said that most altcoins are not. Why am I saying this? Well, because if you remember, in the Solana case, what Solana case? Well, it's a long story, but many crypto companies have been sued throughout time where a lot of altcoins were also blamed. Like, for example, Binance. They sued Binance, but a lot of crypto tokens were also mentioned in there, so they couldn't really properly defend themselves. Well, that part has been thrown out. That part is now gone. Those cryptos like Solana, all good. And ultimately, I think they'll all get ETFs as well. So I think it's quite clear that indeed the SEC doesn't really follow normal rules. And I can't say they don't have a brain, but at least I don't understand how theirs would work. I will say, though, that Moonlambo also pointed out that some of the Ripple case has actually already been used. But I guess there's also not been that many crypto cases going on with that much of a reliance on the Ripple case. I mean, exchanges are fighting a different battle. And which of the crypto companies? Like Uniswap, maybe? But they're all quite different to the way that Ripple operates. And this is something I'm not sure about. I just saw somebody in the comments say it, and I thought it's worth a little read. Sherry says, but there's another option. Protective notice of appeal. Wink. All right. And Jamie Owen said, this is some next level applet stuff. I don't understand, Sherry. And she explained, the Department of Justice is known to mostly file those, but Gensler could do it, claiming the SG needs more time to review, or the SEC believes the delay is beneficial for the change of administration to handle the review. Something along those lines, if Gensler wants to pass the headache, lol, then I guess this person has me blocked, that's fine. It would be filing the notice of appeal and then filing a motion to suspend the briefing schedule to give the SG more time or a new administration to weigh in. I deleted the other post as, oh, maybe she just deleted it, as I do think this is better stated. Interesting, actually, really interesting. Regardless of it all, I'm a bit tired, man, of talking about this case, and I honestly kind of hope as well that nothing is going to happen. And a while back, for example, a little bit ago, when RUNE asked, Jeremy, how big is the chance the SEC will appeal? He says, I think the SEC appealing this would be stupid. So I'm giving it 70-30 odds. But then, since Marco, pointed out, he says, I thought about it some more and went down to 60-40, but really, no one knows. The SEC probably doesn't even know about it yet. But now comes the interesting part. This is part number 3, right? Make sure you press the like button if you haven't done it yet. So first of all, the appeal situation, nobody really knows. Nobody knows if they're going to appeal this decision, the exchange decision, so about different sales, or about the decision of XRP being the non-security. But any one of these, if the SEC goes for it, could also backfire. Now, logically, they'd be happy with the results since they've officially won. Ripple paid a crazy fine. and they can now move on as they get to more tumultuous times. It is better perhaps to focus on other cases that are a little bit easier. Jeremy, though, thinks, again, the exchange programmatic sales will be the focus, which basically means that Ripple sold XRP over exchanges to people on the other side, which is an extremely hard one to prove that there was a contract, an investment contract in that sense. Because again, you're not really connected to one another. If it's a person all over the world, how can you really have an expectation of profit from Ripple, the company, if you might not even know them? But here's point number 3, right? So the one announcement that just came out that brought up a lot of questions was this. Testing RL USD. We're excited to share that Ripple USD is now in private beta on the XRP Ledger and Ethereum mainnet. RL USD has not yet received regulatory approval and therefore is not available for purchase or trading. Please be cautious of scammers who claim they have or can distribute Ripple USD. This is a significant milestone and a step closer to bringing more high-quality assets to the XRP Ledger, driving new opportunities, liquidity, and institutional use cases for users, developers, and applications. RLUSD will be valued at 1:1 to the US dollar and 100% backed by US dollar deposits, short-term US government treasuries, and other cash equivalents. These reserve assets will be audited by a third-party accounting firm, and Ripple will publish monthly attestations. Sign up here for more info. So, a couple of things I have to say straight away. First of all, if you're wondering why Ripple has gone for a stablecoin and you think, is it for this? The simplest reason is, and this might sound really stupid to you, but money. Oh, that's logical. Who doesn't do things for money? No, I'm talking about the fact that stablecoins are, in an essence, extremely safe because it's a dollar for a dollar and extremely profitable. Let's just put that straight away forward. But there's another one, which is almost any ecosystem with not that popular of a stablecoin is not really thriving. I mean, Cardano took a long time to get their proper stablecoins in, but it's also not your major ones like the USDT or USDC, which again have found a lot of popularity on Solana, Tron, Ethereum, BNB chain as the main ones. But I'm just saying stablecoins, for the most part, are key to an ecosystem. XRP thrived for a while. It probably had some small stablecoins. Don't even know which ones, but they probably had it. But for the most part, it missed the center of it. And I think Ripple combined those two parts of making a frick ton of money and, like they just said in this little message, wanting to basically upgrade the XP Ledger, as this would most likely be the highest quality, or rather most significant thing built on the XRP Ledger in terms of adoption. You can't have a proper DeFi sector, which again has been built quite recently, or at least has started to get built on there, without proper stablecoins. But let's relate back to something. Jeremy Hogan posted this. I see a lot of questions regarding what the injunction means for ODL sales. Again, what I've read about quite a lot in the comment section was people saying, Dusty, is Ripple launching a stablecoin because they want to get rid of XRP because they can't sell it anymore? So the answer to that is actually in here. Let's read. I see a lot of questions regarding what the injunction means for ODL sales. Because again, Ripple had to admit defeat, right? So they are not allowed to sell XRP anymore in a certain sense. What sense though? I don't see it changing the status quo at all for the following reasons. So he doesn't think it's a problem. Neither do I. As Ripple has stated, the majority of its XRP and ODL sales are outside the US jurisdictions and really not even subject to this ruling, which is 90% at least. Those have and can just continue the way they always have. Ripple can sell XRP to institutions as long as it sells it under an exemption to registration. There are like 5 major exemptions, and it's much easier to fit into an exemption when selling to a business. I can think of 2 viable options at the top of my head. 3. The judge didn't give the SEC the ODL language it wanted, and therefore if the SEC feels Ripple has violated the order, it would have to move for contempt and present evidence of that specific violation. This would allow Ripple to then raise its argument that there can be no expectation of profits when XRP is only held for a second, which is a winning argument to me. 4. Ripple's legal team has had the summary judgment ruling for over a year now, and I can guarantee they have changed how they sell XRP in order to comply. Whether they got too close to the line or anything like that, as the judge would say, would be something we'll only know if there's a contempt hearing, because again, the SEC thinks what we just said. There might be a couple other things I'm forgetting, but I have a nasty fever right now and I can't do anything. Summary, I think Ripple will be able to use its ODL product just fine. It would just have to be careful how they do that, but it's been that way since July of last year. Well, my own conclusion to this would be not that much has really changed in the negative light with this result. Matter of fact, you might even say it's become more positive rather than negative for XRP. Note they cannot sell XRP to these companies with a direct investment contract. Nor could they for a long time, and they've still operated fine. And I think by now they've figured out a way to get by their business without doing that. But if you really start thinking about it, that had almost nothing to do with using ODL. So using XRP in transactions. So it's mostly for if a company wants to own XRP, perhaps at a discount, then yes, that is now more difficult. But a company using XRP for transactions, and for that reason purchasing it and then selling it again, there's no expectation of profit in that transaction. The whole idea is to basically net zero. Now, I have seen people bring up the argument that if a stablecoin were to come to the XRP ledger, then XRP would be dead, would have no use. And a counter to that, which many people forget, is that that's basically like saying Ethereum, Solana, and all these would be dead because the ecosystems thrive. I think it's a fairly stupid argument to make. It would potentially signify, though, that XRP changes over from being a really cheap transactional currency to one of the cheapest platformers, which again house a lot of these financial services. Again, I'm just stating a possibility. I'm not saying that this is necessarily going to happen. I'm just saying with every concern that can be brought up, I can think of either a solution or another concern with another network that is also, just a problem you can raise anywhere at any time. Ethereum stablecoins are doing well. What's the use of Ethereum? Fair point, right? Well, yeah. And I've often seen people say, yeah, but with Ethereum or so, it's different because they're meant to be a smart contract-bearing platformer. Yeah, but still, think about it. Why would Ethereum have so much transactional volume and be so in demand if it only had to act as a platformer, where, theoretically speaking, Ethereum would never have to be used anymore except for gas? Yet I know a lot of people who never use stablecoins and only use Ethereum for everything, and I can say the similar thing about Solana. Solana has some really solid stablecoins, yet if we're talking about trading memes, everybody for some reason still uses Solana instead of the stablecoin. So if you're thinking a stablecoin would ruin everything, no, it usually doesn't. Usually it adds a lot more appeal because it adds legitimacy, it adds new potential clients, it adds another use case. And in this case here, we'll have to see exactly how they use it and how it goes about all this. Theoretically speaking, Ripple said at some point, and again, I'm not claiming to be a Ripple representative. For all I care, you sell every single coin you've got. It's not my project. I do not care. Too many times I've seen in the comment section people saying, oh, this paid chill. I've never gotten paid by Ripple a single dime. I'm saying this because it makes logical sense to me. I personally think XRP trading below 10 cents is criminal. Anyway, what I was trying to say was that Ripple at some point in the past said they want to basically fulfill all these different financial verticals. One of them being this, one of them being that, yada, yada, yada. If you think this whole stablecoin is really bad for XRP, then any innovation is really quite bad. I can see some arguments against that logic, but I think the more you expand your system, the better. And if you're extremely negative about it, perhaps go to the comments section and explain why. Because I have been looking through the comments. Some people have had valid arguments, some of the ones I've just raised, for example. But most of the people is just saying that they just think it's bad by definition of Ripple focusing on something else as well. And I personally don't think so. I don't think it's per definition bad. But you know what? Maybe that's just me. Let me know if you agree or disagree down below. I personally still, like I said, think XRP is set for at least $10 or so this run, regardless of what crazy stuff Ripple's about to pull. I think even if they do something really stupid, the price will still probably end up there by the end of the run somewhere. But yeah, maybe it's just my own opinion that is based on nothing and it's stupid. But I really do believe so. I really highly am convinced that it is at least going to hit that level. At least $10. It's low. $12 is still low. But yeah, that's about it.